ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaste. Today's subject is simple. So I want to make it very simple also. So I don't want to complicate. So I want to borrow a quotation from Confucius. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. So what do you mean by that? It's very simple but very profound. So what do you mean by that? So life is simple. Now we only complicate. Why? Because we don't have the clarity of the life and also the context of your life. Both of them are equally important. Okay, when I say life is very simple, that means you have to understand the dynamics of life. Now, you have to pause, think, reflect. Okay, whatever I am doing, is it beneficial for me or the other people? That means, you have to drop it. So, I want to make a kind of a 3 years. When I say 3 years, one is, the simple, that means must be sustainable and also scalable and again must be sustainable. See, that is my goal. Any goal must have these 3 components. One is it must be simple. Okay. Now, even being simple, it must be able to sustainable. Then you have to scale up. Then after scaling up, that means you must be able to sustain. So that must be the goal. Now, make you to understand in a very simple way. Okay. Now, there is one difference between the simple and the simpleton. When I say simple, it's very ordinary and you would like to be very simple. That means, okay, there is no complication at all. There is one word called a simpleton. This is opposite. That means he is an idiot. Now, you must have a simple person, but not a simpleton. Okay. Now, when I talk about this simple, scalable, and also sustainable. Now, it can be used in every field in life also. So that's why I want to make it very simple and then start using it. So let us talk about one particular subject. For example, so I want to start my practice of yoga. So initially, I try to do it very fast or the complicated yoga. That means that will be the beginning of the end. Okay, now what you have to understand? Yes, I would like to have yoga. That means I'll start in a very simple stretching and other thing also. So over a period of time, I get the kind of a confidence. Then I can go for so many postures and so many other asanas. Now, this is the purpose of doing this particular session. That means start it in a very small little way. Don't try to do it immediately. Then make sure it is sustainable. Then scale it up. And also make sure that is a sustainable. Now, for example, one more thing. For example, give me one more, the learning. That is, I want to learn music. Okay. Now, for me to learn music, I must go in a systematic way of doing it. Okay. So when you say simple, That means you start with a small, tala, raga, and other thing also. That means you must have a lot of clarity. So, you would like to be a great singer. Now, you must take the baby step. So, the great musicians, they started the baby step. And they are in a great way. They are a giant leap. So, that means if you want to do something in life, so initially make it very simple. But you have to understand. You must have the clarity. Okay, that means you will be able to scale it up. And then please understand in every aspect, then you have to sustain. I know a lot of people start a kind of a woe on the New Year day. Okay, they do it in a very simple way, but they are not able to sustain. They start with the 1st of January and they end up with the February. Now, why? Because they are not able to sustain. So again, the bottom line of the whole thing also, the question of the commitment. Okay, now suppose you want a music, learning music, and also a sports, the same thing. So you must have a tremendous amount of the capacity to sustain. There will be a failure and a success. There will be ups and downs, but you have to accept. Okay, if there is a down, there must be up. Okay, and similarly, I know a lot of people start the industry. They do it in a big way, but completely collapse. Okay, so what you should try to understand is, okay, initially I'll do it in a simple way. I'll make sure that I'm able to understand the dynamics of business and also make sure that I'll be able to sustain. Then I will also scale it up and sustain. Then the question of sustainability must be there all the time. See, there are some great organizations. Okay, they go to the greatest heights, but unfortunately, they make one mistake. They are not able to sustain. They completely collapse. I can give so many examples. Okay, now the question is, when I say 3 years, try to understand simple, scalable, and sustainable. Okay, now I want to give one more, the 3 years. That means whatever that you are trying to do is, make sure that you are able to survive immediately on the particular tasks. I always used to talk to the small scale industries. When you start, you try to survive. See, everybody has got the survival instinct. Okay, now what you should understand? Yes, I got a big goal. Okay, but I cannot do it immediately. Now I don't mind being a conservative initially to learn the kind of the trick of the trade. Now what you should try to understand? Yes, I started the industry. Okay, either it could be a kind of a product or a kind of a manufacturing of the components, whatever it is there. You try to understand the dynamics. Okay, start in a very simple way and make sure you are able to survive. Okay, then over a period of time, you get a lot of confidence. You have crossed the survival stage. Okay, but anytime you can collapse. That means make sure that you are able to sustain. Okay, after the sustenance, that means you keep on, improving on your business. And ultimately what happens? You will get a success. Now that means 3 years. When I talk about the survival and sustenance and also the success. Now whatever that you want to do it in life, this is applicable. An intelligent way of living is to seek help. Okay, that means to say that I don't know, please help me. See, that is more important. Okay, and then you have to keep on scaling up and also help the other people. Now the whole point in this particular one, that means I'm simple, scalable, sustainable. Okay, so every stage you must be absolutely careful. and suppose we are not able to do it, that means you will collapse. It is something like in a way the playing the chess. When you make a wrong move, now you have to keep on defending, right? Until the other person make a wrong move. Similarly, here in this particular case, that means yes, I want to make it very simple. Okay, now I am not a simpleton. Now I do not want to continue in the same status quo. Now I want to really sustain. I want to really scale it up. Okay, then I would like to make sure that whatever I am doing, so I am able to have a kind of a satisfaction. So once you have this particular one, I think nobody can stop you. Okay, again I want to repeat with the same quotation. That means life is very simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Now that means when a person is very simple, it's fine. If you want to make it as a complicated, that means you are a simpleton, or a simple man, or a simpleton. Think, see, either you can be a simple man and scale it up and be very successful, or you can be a simpleton. That means you will collapse. When I say simpleton, he's an idiot. He has not planned. Okay. Now with this particular kind of a concept or the formula, that means you can be successful in whatever you want to do in life also. Let us take the example of Mahatma Gandhi. Now he was not a Mahatma Gandhi initially. Okay, he was only Gandhi. Okay, now the moment you found out, in South Africa, that he was insulted, see, that means he got an idea. It's a very simple idea. So what is the simple idea? That I must get the freedom to the India. Now he just came back to India, and then he never started immediately. Now he wanted to travel to the breadth and the length of the country. They wanted to find out the pulse of the people. They tried to understand what exactly is the strength of the country at that particular time. Okay, now the whole idea is, he started in a small little way. He wanted to have a kind of a donation for the freedom movement from the entire country. Birla offered him the entire amount. So why do you want to struggle with the task? Then Gandhi told him that suppose if you are going to give the entire money, that means that is your project. It is not the country's project. Then he wanted to collect money from every citizen at least 1 rupee. Okay. Now the whole idea is, it's very simple. To get the 1 rupee from all the citizens makes all the difference. But it's a very simple idea. But you make it very tremendous amount of impact. Now over a period of time, you was able to scale up. You are able to get more people. And everybody was following his principles. Now why I am trying to make this particular statement is that he started with a simple idea. That means, let me understand the pulse of the country. Okay, now he wanted to involve all the people, and he was able to sustain. He is able to scale it up. That is one. I can give one more beautiful example. There is one person called, the Matsushita in Japan. Most of you may be knowing about the Panasonic. Okay. Now, he started in a very small way, in a garage, making a small little, the socket in the Japanese market. Now, the idea is very simple. He always used to tell people that whatever that you want to do make it very simple, and also make it is scalable, and you are able to sustain. And now, without any kind of a formal education, then people used to call him as the god of the management in Japan. Okay, now the point I am trying to drive home is that all the other things start in a small way. For example, take a Kaveri. It started with a small place, Kodugu, isn't it? Now it has become a very big river. Similarly, look at the Ganges. Start with the Gangotri in a very small way. Similarly, here, whatever you want to do in life, do it in a very simple way. Start with a clarity, with a full of clarity. That means you will succeed. That means not only you will survive, you will also be able to sustain and also succeed. Okay. Take care. All the best. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti